Hello, my magical family. It's Marguerite. Lately, I've been saying, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, I've invited you to come along today. I was calling it a pity party. And the reason I was calling it a pity party is, let's just talk about some grievances and then get over it and talk about what's more empowering for us right now. So I don't really have an agenda. I just wanted to have a space for sisterhood and brotherhood. But to me, at a deeper level, that's what it feels like has been coming up is, the betrayal. But the betrayal of sisterhood, so that goes with my own story. And, I really got to see a deeper look into myself this weekend before I was, getting emails about Doreen Virtue. So I was reading one of the stories from this book, Women Who Run with Wolves, on the Ugly Duckling. And if you read my email today, that's what I was saying, that my path has been the ugly duckling. And I've been watching the swans. They got some swan feathers here. So if no one comes on, I'll share a little bit about that. But the betrayal is real, and I will show one of the newest interviews, well, maybe it's not the newest, but August 8th, an interview with Doreen. She's been transformed by Jesus and sharing about her new life. So I think the part that really moved me to write this email was the silence, keeping us silent. And so, hi, who's there? Come say hi. Penny, my sister. Tap to invite her to join you as a guest. How do I do that? I'm tapping, inviting you. Okay. Maybe this is something new now. So, okay, you're being invited. Oh, this is interesting. It's a new, something I've never seen for Facebook Lives before. Okay. So, hi, Penny. Can you, I don't know. Say hi anyways. It looks like you're invited. I don't know why you have to be invited, but technology is always changing. Okay, she can hear me. You can hear me. Thanks, darling. Did you read today's email that I sent out? There's always a time delay here too. Hey there. Hi, goddess sister. You're definitely my magical fairy sister. So no, you didn't read it. Okay. So I just want to clarify, well, I'm going to share the video of what Doreen was saying about fairies. So, she did denounce Ascended Master cards, decks, told Hay House not to publish them anymore. So really, as I was just mentioned, that it was the silence, that she's silencing people within the fairyologist group. And so that's what, came to my attention. I don't know what she's doing in other groups. But people were just innocently asking her, is the fairyology course, is that still being honored? And other questions like, is the fairy fairyology or fairy 101 book still going to be published? Is this group going to keep going? Anyways, questions weren't being answered, and people started being banned, and then other people were speaking up for the ones being banned, and then they got banned. So, it was a beautiful group of people, and it's not really about worshiping. And maybe you guys can help me with this. Is if you have an interest in something, so are you worshiping it? Right? So if we're talking about fairies, and unicorns and dolphins, elementals, nature spirits, really, the connection of magic and nature. You are awakened, you are aware, awakened people, my friends. And so, sure, we see things at a different level, right? But when you've had a teacher for, who's been, she calls New Agers, and who you've been following, there is a big betrayal when all of a sudden she's renouncing everything. So let me just play this just to clarify. Okay, so now it doesn't want to go. Hang on.
From the living word that goes inside of you and shows you. The one message through the whole Bible is don't worship other gods. That's right. The whole story of the Bible is stop worshiping these pagan idols. And I had been doing that.
Right. You've got all kinds of things from fairies to mermaids to dolphins.
And little other religion, the little statues from other religions and stuff. And I got rid of all that, and I'm just
you're focused
on there's one God.
Yeah.
So it's a huge wake-up call. Yeah.
What a blessing.
And how did this go down with your husband? Because I know for a lot of people, sometimes as they're on a growth with their spirituality.
Okay, so that's up there if you want to watch the whole video. It's in today's email, which the email I also posted in the group. Doreen Virtue renounces magic for Jesus. And so, people were saying she's gaslighting. And, I guess the part to really start a discussion on is, Penny says she's chosen fear over magic. Who is worshiping? We are all living alongside the elementals. Exactly. And so thank you. And I see there's a few more people here, so I'd love for you to say hi. I had to invite Penny, so I don't know if you have to be invited to have the discussion now. But, the big question is, why the division? Why can't you believe in Jesus and the fairies and everything connected to the earth right now? So yeah. So what I was reading, and I'll just do this until, so more people want to jump in and just share your thoughts, right? So we're not here to say who's right, who's wrong. I just want to make people aware, right, that there's a lot of discrepancies and a lot of pain being dished out there right now. Through, if someone's committing to a goal and to a way of life, and then they turn around and say, well, now you're wrong, that hurts. That hurts. And so, let's feel our hurt and take a stand even more to not be silent. So, I won't even go on that Facebook group. And it was, it was beautiful. And now it's, you can feel the lie that's run through it. So any there's administrators, so anyone who's asking anything now, those posts aren't getting approved, and anyone saying anything in the group disagreeing, everything's getting deleted. So it's just a group now of sweetness, and that's fine, but don't stop people from talking. And so, reading this book, The Ugly Duckling, Finding One's Pack, Belonging as a Blessing, it's talking about the ugly duckling and our wildish nature, and that is magic. And the wildish nature endures. So I made a video on it, but I'm going to just read this here. The ugly duckling theme is universal. All stories of the exile contain the same nucleus of meaning, but each is surrounded by different frills and cultural background. The core meanings we are concerned with are these. The duckling of the story is symbolic of the wild nature, which, when pressed into circumstances of little nurturing, instinctively strives to continue no matter what. The wild nature instinctively holds on and holds out, sometimes with style, other times with little grace, but holds on nevertheless. And thank goodness for that, for the wildish woman, duration is her greatest strength. Duration is her greatest strengths. The other aspect of the story is that when the individual's particular kind of soulfulness, which is both an instinctual and a spiritual identity, is surrounded by psychic acknowledgement and acceptance, that person feels life and power as never before. Asserting one's own psychic family brings a personal vitality and belongingness. So the exile, being the misfit, not fitting into your family, society. Christy Lee, I love you too, sister. Thank you for being here and just holding the space with me, and definitely asking any questions. Because as I see my wildish nature, like, I could understand Doreen, changing her path, because I did that last year. So I could see the backlash, and I feel liberated to share more of my story. And Penny, she was a firekeeper with me, so she knows a little bit of how my story and my path changed, and the backlash of women who said they were magical. Barbara, my other magical sister, who loves magic, who loves fairies, who loves unicorns. Penny says, the truth always has a vibration, right? We can only trust that. Yeah, and that's it, This is a curse and a blessing, which I said is because, it's time to follow our own hearts, our own voices. She says in this book, keep searching for your tribe. And let us attend here to the inner issues of the exile, for when one develops adequate strength, not perfect strength, but moderate and serviceable strength in being oneself and finding what belongs to one, then you can influence the outer community and cultural consciousness in masterful ways. What is moderate strength? It's when the internal mother who mothers you isn't 100% confident about what to do next. 75% confident will do nicely. 75% is a goodly amount. Remember, we say that a flower is blooming whether it's half, 3/4, or full bloom. Christy, so true. So say hi if you're just coming on, and tell us how you're feeling. If this is helping you stand stronger in your own sense, right? If you are ready to continue to speak up for your own path of believing in magic, believing in the wildish nature. I was talking to Christy Lee earlier, and I said, yeah, like, I am being all my multidimensional selves, right? My red skin, my native self, my goddess self, just, yeah, my wild woman self, my witchy self, whatever. There's room in me for all of it. There's room in you for all of it. And, so when we see the division, when we see the separation, it just pulls us and makes us long more for that unity that we are bringing forth, right? And I know there's a lot to focus on right now in the world, and that was my email before. Prayers up for everyone and everything, right? So I started off this Facebook Live with the Serenity Prayer, but I've also been doing the Ho'oponopono. And Christy Lee loves the flower analogy. Brilliant. Yeah. And, I don't want to be the only one talking here. I just want to, open up the platform in this safe space. It's not going to go out to anybody else. And, yeah, if you're mad, say you're mad. If you're hurt, say you're hurt. Let's have our pity party and and then be our magical makers. Oh, yeah, just as Christy Lee says that. We are magic. We are wild women. Yes. And Penny says, I believe and cannot be shaken. I don't feel the separation. I embrace all. Yes. Yeah. So it's being that voice. How many years have women been silenced? I'm just going to read this Exile as a boon too while I'm here. If you attempted to fit whatever mold and failed to do so, you're probably lucky. You may be an exile of some sort, but you have sheltered your soul. There's an old phenomenon that occurs when one keeps trying to fit and fails. Even though the outcast is driven away, she is at the same time driven right into the arms of her psychic and true kin, whether these be a course of study, an art form, or a group of people. It is worse to stay where one does not belong at all than to wander about lost for a while and looking for the psychic and soulful kinship one requires. It is never a mistake to search for what one requires. Never. There's something useful in all this torque and tension, something in the duckling that is tempered, being made strong by this exile. While this situation is not one we would wish on anyone for any reason, its effect is similar to pure natural carbon pressure producing diamonds. It eventually leads to a profound magnitude and clarity of the psyche. Christy Lee says, multidimensional, even in this body, so much to explore as a collective and part of the one. Yes, exactly. So there's an aspect of alchemy wherein the base substance of lead is pounded about and beaten down. While exile is not a thing to desire for the fun of it, there is an unexpected gain from it. The gifts of exile are many. It takes out weaknesses by the pounding. It removes whininess, enables acute insight, heightens intuition, grants the power of keen observation, and the perspective that the insider can never achieve. Even though there are negative aspects to it, the wild psyche can endure exile. It makes us yearn that much more to free our own true nature and causes us to long for a culture to match. You guys. Even this yearning, this longing makes a person go on. It makes a woman go on looking, and if she cannot find the culture that encourages her, then she usually decides to construct it herself, and that is good. For if she builds it, others who have been looking for a long time will mysteriously arrive one day, enthusiastically proclaiming that they have been looking for this all along. Well, I know I've been looking for you guys for a long time. And I said I've gone to hell and back. Christy Lee, deep listening. We are remembering the lost, soulful, nourishing art of deep listening. See more in a sec. When we truly stop our minds and listen to each other, we open up galaxies of soul that heals our troubled consciousness of reality. That is beautiful. Barbara says, I don't feel threatened by Doreen's point of view, but maybe because I have not been involved in such depth. Perhaps her denial of this aspect of Source is meant to strengthen our beliefs and, hang on a sec here, see more, and resolves in the face of such negativity. Yeah. Penny says, we're not in exile, we found each other. Yes, yes. But it's a wound, right? As magical beings that we came into this world with our, the remembering and hanging on and hanging on. And, the black sheep of the family, whatever label you want to use. And, I was even looking at the witch wound of being silent. And, it's scary. It's scary to take a stand. And I've been asking you guys all summer, and let's go back to the whys with the thunder beings coming forth this year. When nature's really just been showing up, leading the way, and of course, we are connected to nature. Nature is magic, and we are magic. So I'm preaching to the choir here. So I'm glad everyone feels their own sense of strength. That's beautiful. And, that we can have this higher conversation too. That feels good, because I have been answering some emails today, and a lot of people are, though. We are in confusing times, and it's just pointing everyone back to within themselves, right? And holding the space for all of us. And again, that's it, right? I mean, she can have any belief she wants. We all can. It's just when you make someone else wrong and you've been teaching them. So a lot of people are on the fence, and they, Yeah. So, I've been through it really recently, last year. I'll just go back quickly that I was bringing magic to golfers, helping women connect back to the magic of Earth through the game of golf. And then it's like, I need to pass this on for more women. And then when I, saw the fairies, I started the Awaken Magic Summit, and Penny, you understand. This has brought up a healing for me of sisterhood, because I didn't, I was totally the exile. I mean, I was exiled to living in a basement. I was, living with my girlfriend for 2 years. We were firekeepers together. We did full moons together. One of the last speakers, she ended up taking the other woman's side. So we lived together for 2 years. Then we ended up moving into a house. And when I started doing the Awakened Magic Summit, and I was so filled with joy, and oh man, and the more playful I got, the more serious she got, and then it was just all these demands, you know. Basically, it was like, who do you think you are? You're getting too big for your britches. And, you know, you can't use the front door anymore. You gotta use the basement. You can't have fairy, you know, workshops in the backyard. I could hardly even teach yoga there. So stopping my livelihood, it was just crazy. But then I went and lived with Tarek, so I didn't really get time to integrate all of it. And that betrayal from sisters, and I didn't share it with anybody because it was just my own path. But it was painful. It was really painful, and I was being bullied, and you know, I know I did a lot of videos talking to my Awakened Magic friends when I was, you know, working and living with Tarek, and then, you know, having to be the spiritual whistleblower there. You know, I don't know. So then, you know, I finally landed in a place of peace, and then the outside of, you know, watching the Swan family and the Ugly Duckling, and as I said, you know, me being the Ugly Duckling and to the Swan. So, I'm there if anyone wants to talk about it even more. Penny says, it was a tough time, but a stepping stone to where I am now. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really tough time. And but you know, just like in the story, that wildish nature just holds on, and I've been you know, holding on to that prophecy of the Rainbow Warriors. When time, you know, the earth is ravaged, there will be a new people and a new earth, and we will be telling stories. And so that's how the Be the Expression came about. You know, let's start sharing our experience, strength, and hope. And the question is, you know, I ask everyone is, how do you lean into love? Right? How do you lean into love? When everything looks like it's going to hell in a handbasket, and I've been saying that to people, and I'm interviewing them, right? Because you know, I was saying the saga of the states. But there's betrayal in so many areas, and this has got, I guess this is up to be healed. Christy says, it's a wound that runs deep. This past week I faced people that I love and consider soul family attempt to stomp me down for owning publicly that I'm psychic. Yeah, and that's big for you, right? Because just a few months ago, Chrissy Lee, you know, you wouldn't even come on Facebook. Like, we practiced in another group, right? The Wise Women Setting Your Magic Free. We were all practicing. That's why I said, now, you know, I want to bring it to the bigger awakened community so we can practice finding our voices, reclaiming our female sovereignty within the safe space. But anyways, let me go on to continue reading. Yeah, so for you to even say you were psychic, right? That was pretty scary. And now you're rocking it, girl. So it truly was a moment of, no, I am not your judgment. It can't be about me. I love you, brothers. Thank you for pushing me further into owning my voice and speaking. Tears came, of course, but after the tears, more freedom. Yes. Yes, it is a liberation. You know, sometimes when you speak, like I'm sure even after I share this, you know, I might not want to like answer any emails or anything, because all day I've been talking about this. But you know, it's because I want to talk about it and then let it go. And I know healing comes in cycles, but I don't want to dwell on this because there is work to do. You know, this is September. This is a time for going back to school, and you know, I want to play with all of you, like do more of the goddess yoga and things. But I think this is really was a fork in the road for me too, because I thought, well, should I continue to be the expression? Put it on pause and start again in the summer. But no, I think people are underserved in being brave, in speaking, and I'll just share this like right out. I was going to send an email about holding people accountable, because a lot of people were booking, which was great, but then they wouldn't show. And that's fine if you can't make it. Have the courtesy to say, hey, I can't be there, because it's my time, I'm volunteering and I'm showing up and no one else is showing up, and I'm putting time aside. Barbara, I'm trying not to take all of this personally, but I do hear your room ding. I do hear your room ding. Barbara, I don't know what you're saying, darling. Christy Lee, we either step into our story and own all of it, or it owns us. I'm proud of you for speaking your truth right now. It can shift and shift and shift all over again. Yes. Penny, yes, do not quit. We all need you. We all need each other. Yes, yes, we are walking each other home. We are walking each other home. And this world needs our magic. It's filled with madness. We know what 5D is like. We know the joy that is there, and all the beings that come. And Christy Lee says, yes, Penny. Penny, yeah. We know the ease and the effortlessness. We know when we raise our vibration, that life is a lot easier. And the density keeps pulling our attention, and that's fine. That's fine. We can put our prayers there, but we don't have to get sucked into it. And we can feel our feelings, but they don't have to own us. That's again why I want to just have this discussion, just to work on a bit of healing, work on a bit of discussion. Don't suffer in silence anymore. I mean, I did that last year, right? I hear your frustration and woundedness, Barbara says. I was asking her to clarify. Penny says, exactly. Yeah. And, sometimes when we're starting to speak, it's not eloquent. It is messy. And who cares? We're showing up and speaking, right? And I said that to Christy Lee. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I'm just going to show up and allow it to come through. Allow it to come through. So, it might not be as eloquent, but I know I stand for you, sisters, and your wildish nature. Christy Lee, we all have the need to be seen, understood, and listened to. Yeah. I was definitely a voice in the wilderness for many years. And, sometimes I think too that, when we are opening up our hearts and feeling, we are human beings, and I guess that's part of, when I was saying all my multidimensional selves, there's the human part of us too, and, that wants a voice. Women's magic is best shared by talking things out. So that's how we roll. Yes, Penny, thank you. Christy Lee, in all our expressions. Exactly. And again, just, holding that space. So you can, say whatever. You agree with me, disagree with me. Like, I'm not going to ban you. We're just beaming at our love. But that's, yes, okay, so I digress. When I'm talking about the love, we have been frozen. So I think that's, part of the purification with Mother Earth too, and all the floods and the hurricanes and the water, and, that is the purification. We are walking each other home because we are all birthing this new Earth. We don't know what it's like. We're just showing up every day, right? And being. Christy Lee, talk about all of it helps us to make sense about our own experiences. Thanks for the love. You guys are great. Thank you so much for your support and being here. And yeah. I just love you all. Just love you all. Let's have a little love fest here. So we're not Spocks, right? We are feeling beings. Penny says, love you for who you are and for putting yourself out there to keep the dialogue going. Yeah. Yeah. And remember I was saying, like taking a stand, like being our spiritual warriors, but not fighting, just by standing up and speaking. Like what clearing we need in our throats. How many centuries have we not been able to speak? Christy Lee, I absolutely adore you. It's precious to me that you let yourself be seen. Thank you. I so adore you and appreciate you. All of you. All of you. No masks and vulnerability is gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it, right, Christy Lee? I mean, we've traveled together this year, and yeah, no masks, right? Yeah. And I wish I could give you guys all swan feathers. So let's be swans. Be graceful, filled with beauty. Continue to share the beauty of Mother Nature and how much she loves us and how much we love her. And the magical moments, they just keep coming in abundance, And so I honor all of you for your magical selves. I see your magical selves, your womanness, your wildness. I honor it. Christy Lee, I wouldn't be alive had you not granted me space when I was swimming in darkness. Yeah. And look at you now. You are just blooming. You are growing and a going concern, which is how you started off, right? Return to innocence. Return to being our true selves. It doesn't help any of us to be put down, to be made wrong. We are multidimensional. We all go through shifts and changes. And yeah, it's beautiful that we found each other. Christy Lee, it's liberating and freeing. Penny, gonna meet you, Christy. Yeah. Yeah. Keep speaking, speaking, and speaking to sparkle and shine, be the lighthouses. Be the lighthouses. Yeah. So does it feel complete for everyone? Definitely, if you're on this replay, add your comments. I actually, it's really cool because Christy knows, and Barbara knows Sherry Ann, and some of you might know that I lived with her last year with Tarek and a few other people. And she goes to Mexico. Well, so she went to Mexico, and I moved after. Anyways, and I'm going to get into that part. So she's going back to Mexico, and I'm going to see her tomorrow and go to the Sacred Rock and just definitely be sending out prayers. Christy Lee says, yes, Penny, I agree. I started calling out for more of my tribe, and I'm requesting physical encounters. Yeah. So Penny says she's good. Happy we chatted. I am so happy too, Penny. You know what? It is really been really healing for me to share a little bit about last year and with you here as witness to being bashed because of believing in magic out loud on a larger scale to find the tribe, right? And the betrayal of sisterhood in our physical group. So I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, and not to take things personally anymore, right? Isn't that the Hopi prayer, that there's a river now? A lot of people don't want to jump in, they're holding on to the bank, but if you jump in, it's moving swift, but you're going to find those who are with you and celebrate, and we don't have to suffer. That time is coming to an end, and we are the ones we've been waiting for. Penny, I know, shocked me, yeah. Shocked you. Shocked me. Yeah. It was a breakup. It was a breakup last year, and I know a lot of people are breaking up with Doreen, and that's okay. Christy Lee says we don't have to ever adopt someone else's opinion about us. Yes, didn't Wayne Dyer say that? What you think of me is none of my business. Yeah. So maybe I'll just end with the Serenity Prayer too. And thank you all for holding space here. Yeah, painful. Yeah. Yeah. Christy Lee says, I love that. He's awesome. Yes, Wayne Dyer. I always, had a great connection because we had the same birthday. So there's so many times he would come up with things on a global scale that I was feeling, and working personally. So there's that field, right? That field of love. We're all connected, and so I think, was it Rumi or Ram Dass who says there is a field and I'll meet you there. And so can we not see that? That field is love. So how in tune we are. Like we may be saying something in a post and then someone else is saying it's like, hey, you just got my mind mail or my heart mail, or you just tuned in. It's like, yeah, we can see when we're in that field of love and how that connection, like we know this. I'm speaking to the choir. I know we know this. And it's encouraging, and the hope is there. The hope is there that within every woman there lies a powerful force filled with good instincts, passionate creativity, and ageless knowing. She is the wild woman who represents the instinctual nature of women, but she's an endangered species, for though the gifts of wildish nature belong to us at birth, society's attempt to civilize us into rigid roles has muffled the deep, life-giving messages of our own souls. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Oh, hi, Tammy. I'm just signing off now. Yes, 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 Christy Lee says. Aho, Penny says. And Barbara, she believes it was Rumi who said, there is a field and I'll meet you there. Onar Elixir. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, the Rainbow Tribe this year has been, filled with the thunder beings, filled with the rainbows, the sun dogs, so many signs of hope that we are birthing. We are in the birthing pains. Don't give up hope. Love yourself. Christy says, love you, Barbara. Yeah. And loving ourselves, loving Mother Earth, loving the fairies, loving the magic, loving all our multidimensional selves. Love is one. It really has. It really has. It's just asking us now to, take a stand. Take a stand. I love you all. Thank you for your love today. Thank you for being part of my healing, allowing me to voice. And I wish you could all be having a voice too, but you are. It's not speaking, but you're typing. And sometimes it's clearer when you're typing, right? But I go back to what Cara Johnson said too, is like sometimes we can't speak because the voice is the chimney for the heart, and if the heart's wounded, that's a protective measure to be constricted. So, I'm asking you to share your stories of experience, strength, and hope. And that's okay if you're not ready. That's okay. Mwah, Penny says. Barbara says, love to all. Mwah. Christy says, mwah, I say. And, I'll be holding you all in the prayers tomorrow with Sherry Ann at the Sacred Rock, where that is filled with ecstasy. So let's just stay in our ecstatic selves. Bye. Love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.